It was a night early in January, an odd, uneven time, the start of a new semester, but the trees stood still, bare, and the cold was still materialized from my lips with each breath we took. I was carrying an empty milk jug that I purchased from CVS earlier that day. As you held out your hand, I remember feeling a little foolish. The milk jug hung from the tips of my fingers like a limp, untouched rag, which I tried to hide behind my legs as we shook hands. You shook my hand like a man, hard and firm, and in a way that would have made my father proud. You looked at me in the eyes, and I hadn't forgotten about those things. You were a man with a presence. I had always admired you since. Back then, I felt like a spectator at a rodeo, barred by the iron gates and seats and lost among the thousands of spectators, and they all had eyes for you. You handled the horses with care and rode the bull with poise and lassoed with precision and smiled at us right. Tilted, your cowboy had on. While you performed, I tried to push my way through the crowd of fans, but I couldn't move an inch, closeted by the long bodies. The number was large and the people loud, but I couldn't take my eyes off of them. The rodeo may be over, and the crowd back to their cars, and to their homes, and to their lovers, but I stayed behind, building a home among those empty seats. As the days grew warmer and longer, and as the breaths were made and material again, we weren't at a rodeo anymore. The sun hung over our heads, and you and I and our friends, adorned in matching jerseys, were a soccer team facing a common enemy. The opposing team made us with their taunts and tricks, but we stood firm and fought hard. It was an honor to be on the same team as you, to fight the same battles with you. I remember our final game, our final battle. We walked onto the field side by side, the two of us. Your shoulder was mine. I never felt more like a man as I did then. The soccer season may be over, and our teams back to their dorms, and to the fellow female lovers, and to their own homes. But I stayed behind, building a home on this field of memories of a semester gone by together. I remember the afternoons when things started to change. I felt it in the stark trees with the budding leaves, the budding leaves, and then the flowers that sprouted from the dirt, and in the green inchworms that descended upon us from the trees, and in the warm air that blanketed me with her heavenly touch, and I realized that I was hope. Excuse me, y'all. I realized that what I felt was hope that had shifted and realigned my body towards the mat pursuit and lifted me from my feet, and I felt like a kid again. I felt young and tremendously alive and drenched with this mad and crazed hope that maybe someday things would be all right again, and you were the one who would make it all right. We had left Summit and walked to James Lawn. It was our first conversation. And we let the words spill freely from our lips. We spoke of books we read and films we watched. You told me about your father, and I saw the shift in your eyes as you looked at me. It lasted a fleeting second, and that was enough. I wanted to remain here in that moment forever and build a home within the confines of your eyes, and I would be content. When you looked at me with those green eyes, you saw me for who I am. I was no longer a spectator lost in the multitude, but a man with blood and desire and hope, and I never felt more at home in my skin, graced by the touch of your eyes. I became a man that will stand by you. Summer came, and school ended, and I didn't know what I felt. The women I once loved became material, opening their legs and offering up their holy country to fuck. I knew that I needed something else, something pulsating with blood and life and presence. You were a man with a presence, after all. That summer when your name surfaced on my iPhone screen, my blood was pumping, and I felt weak at ease. I knew what I wanted, but I also felt fear, slowly strangling me with her touch. How could my father even look at me? When you emerged from your car to the late summer heat, I knew. Throughout the semester, I knew. You had told me your story and your history and what you loved and what you hated. The hero of the rodeo crumbled to the ground, and what remained was a man whom I saw that was unsure of who he was and what he wanted. You had told me that you considered me your closest friend. The words were tangible yet intangible, and they spilled from your lips. The words held sound and emotion and feeling, and yet I couldn't touch them. I couldn't pick them up and hold them close. The words just faded into the air, and on that cool night, I lost and never going to forget. I need more, crave more, wanted more. You were my heritage, my opiate. That single rush as I jammed the needle into my blood and my veins, and I felt as the heroin breathed its heaven and hell into me. I was addicted. Perhaps still I am. Your friend Caroline puts it best. I felt sweet, swinging bliss like a big shot of heroin in the mainline vein, like a gulp of wine late in the afternoon. It makes you shudder. My feet tingled. I thought I was going to die the very next moment, but I didn't die. Perhaps Caroline and I meant to be after all. We're both the same, offering nothing to anybody but our own confusion. I chose to offer you my confusion. I chose to tell you, to end this charade, and to finally tell you what I feel. I have fallen in love with you. When I offered you my confusion, no, scratch that. When I offered you my honesty and